Hi, I'm Claire and today we're going to do a bit of decluttering. I have a lot of books. I don't think it's a problem to have a lot of books. I love having a lot of books. The thing that is a problem is that right now I don't actually have a space to put new books that come into my house because all my bookshelves are full to bursting. All my surfaces in my office are full to bursting. I have so many of these books that are in the house and have never been read, and I don't know that I'm gonna get to them, and I bought them years ago and I'm not sure if I'm going to want to read them in future, so it is time to do some decluttering. And because it is non-fiction November, I thought I would do this by listening to the one and only The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying by Marie Kondo. I've been meaning to read this book for a while now. When it first came out there was a lot of buzz around it and I wasn't especially interested. I thought it didn't really sound like something that was for me, but I did watch the Tidying Up Netflix series earlier this year, absolutely loved it, and since seeing that I've been thinking I should really get on and do it. It is a little bit daunting. I'm not sure whether this is going to be one video or a series of videos as we go through the decluttering. I feel like once I start with books I'm gonna want to go through all of the other categories. So without further ado, I have the audiobook here from Audible and I am going to put that on and get started. I probably won't be able to talk to you while I'm doing the decluttering because John's about to start recording a video that will be very loud and not very conducive to me recording anything, but I will get back to you after a chunk of the tidying has been done. Welcome back. It has been quite a few hours. I did the first portion of the sorting. I don't think I'm done, but this is why I'm at right now. I'm sitting in the middle of my books. This giant pile over here is so far the keep pile, but I want to do some more work on it because I feel like I was quite confident with which of my read books sparked joy in me, but for the unread books I was finding it really hard, like what do you keep, what do you not keep. In the book Marie Kondo says, you know, sometimes never happens. If you have a bunch of unread books, just get rid of them, you won't read them. But you know, I do maintain a shelf of books that I haven't read yet that I'm going to read soon because reading books is kind of what I do. So I feel like I need to take that advice with a grain of salt but still keep it in consideration. And then on the other side of me over here I have a giant pile of books to give away. Now there's a big portion of these books that I've designated for giving away that I've read and I like them okay, but I'm not going to reread them and I don't feel the need to keep them. There's also a big portion of books in there that I haven't read and I'm not sure I want to read them at all at this point, and if I do, I know that I'll probably want to read them in a different format. I am giving away my copy of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell because that's a 1000-page book, and if I were ever going to read this, which is a strong possibility because a lot of people love that book and have told me it's great, but if I were going to read that, I know I'd read it on audio because it's so long and that's the way that I like to enjoy like proper epic fantasy type things. But it is so hard as a person who loves books to justify even to yourself like getting rid of some books and like letting them leave your house. It's so hard to think I am going to tell all of you how many books I am giving away, and I'm going to show you the piles and you might be able to see what books they are, and you might think I'm letting go of something that you love and that you think I would love too, and that you're gonna be upset because I'm giving it away. Like there's so much guilt. It's really, I mean, I can see how once I'm done it's going to be a really liberating experience, which is something that Marie Kondo talks about a lot in the book. But like I said, I'm not even sure that I'm done at this point. I've done a good first pass. What I would like to do now with this ginormous pile of books right here is to split it off into read books and as yet unread books. And once I have this like TBR pile of books, do another go through them and think like, does reading this book feel like it's gonna be a chore? Or am I excited about it? Because I hate to admit that, but I really, really struggle with the guilt that comes with unread books, and it makes reading feel less fun to me. It's also become really, really clear to me in the last few years that I'm 100% an audiobook person. I do love physical books and I do read physical books sometimes, but I find it a lot more difficult to focus on physical books than to focus on audiobooks. Like, I will listen to a super long audiobook, like, you know, Jonathan the Stranger and Mr. Norrell doesn't seem like a difficult prospect for me on audio, even though it's probably going to be like 30 hours long or something, whereas the book, looking at that like really thick brick-like paperback of tiny print, just gives me hives. So yeah, let's divide this up further and make a TBR pile. And we're back. What you're seeing right now is the pile of definite keep. Those are all the books I've already read or books that have sentimental value to me. I'm keeping all of those. Those were easy picks. Right in front of me, I have my entire TBR shelf. It's still quite a lot. I haven't actually counted yet. I'm gonna have to count these, and then once I've counted and I've felt a little sorry for myself about how many unread books I own, I am going to do a trick that my friend Jenny at Reading the End suggested. Instead of looking at one book and thinking, do I want to read this book in future, which kind of feels a bit bad. You don't want to say, no, I'm just definitely not interested in this book, right? Because I'm interested in way more books than I can read anyway with the time that I've got. Instead, what Jenny suggested was to look at all the books and kind of try to order them in terms of what am I most excited to read next, to the thing that I'm the least excited to pick up next. And I might be excited to pick it up in the abstract, but I don't actually want to read it now, with the idea that it would be easier to pick between two books than to just like judge a book's worth on its own, if that makes any sense. So we're at 142 not yet axed unread books, which is blooming ridiculous. I read between 50 and 60 books a year. Hoping I might break 60 this year, but I don't read between 50 and 60 of my own physical books a year, for sure. So it's not like I can just stop acquiring new books and read all of this in 2.5 years. That's not how that's gonna work. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I think I'm going to try and, you know, trim a little from the 142 books, and then I'm probably gonna want to put in place a game for 2020, like Lala's Closet Unwhole when she was doing that, or Cody's Wheel of TBR, like something where I make myself read some of my books. And then if I don't read them, I have to get rid of them, because I'm a person that really only works well with deadlines. So I'm gonna have to do something, because this is a bit ridiculous. And also I need to do something about this mess of books in my room right now. Thankfully, John has ordered takeaway, so that's at least one good thing. Okay, so I've had a bit more of a think, and the goal that I made for myself at the beginning of this year was to get my physical TBR to under 50 books by the end of 2020, because it was a huge goal. I decided to be kind to myself and make it into a 2-year goal rather than a by the end of the year do this extremely drastic thing kind of goal, which is great because I've only just started now and it's in November. So now I have 142 unread books that I didn't feel like were an obvious don't need to keep this on my first pass, and I want to get to 50 unread books on my physical shelf by the end of next year. So I think what I need to do is make a good dent in those on my second pass. I need to have another look and think, realistically, am I going to read these? Hopefully get another third of that massive pile off. Like, look at getting another 45 to 50 books on the donate piles so that I'm closer to 100 physical books on my TBR. And then for 2020, make it a project to try and reduce that physical TBR. Again, I'm gonna be looking at other people's like fun reading TBR reducing projects for ideas, and I have a couple of months to come up with what to do in 2020 for that. So if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments. Alright, takeaway has been consumed. I am now in my ridiculous cat dressing gown because it is getting a little bit late, but it's done for now, I think. We now have a pile of books that is going to be the keep. I've definitely read those. I want those on my shelf pile. And then this here is the current TBR stack. And it's not quite 50 books down from what we had earlier, but maybe 35-ish down. So I'll take that for now, I guess. I am gonna have to make sure that these get read and don't keep languishing on my shelves though. And yeah, this over there is a pretty huge donate pile, but I'm feeling really happy about where we are now, actually. Can't believe this much got done just in a day. I'm gonna put on a podcast or something and get to work putting all of this on my shelves, which are just sad and empty right now. Well, it's gone 11 p.m. now and I'm exhausted, but there are books on the shelf, it's done. So here we go, these are all my read books and things that I want to keep for reference and sentimental purposes. And most importantly, what I'm really excited about is my TBR shelf, which you can see right here. It's now only got in it unread books that I want to keep reading, and it's also got those comic books at the bottom, which I've actually read most of. So my goal was to have this shelf only of unread books. I'm quite happy with this. Like, it's 2 shelves and a half. They're quite full, but I'm really happy with this. This seems a lot more manageable, and yeah, all of these I'm quite excited to dig into. So good work, I think. So in the end, I've still got a truckload of books to bring to the charity shop, and I don't have a car to do it with, so that's going to be exciting. But I'm really happy with this, and I'm thinking I might well want to continue doing this with some of my other stuff. You know, just do a full declutter with like clothes and paper and sentimental things and all of the other categories in the Konmari thing. I've not actually listened to more of the book because you're not supposed to listen to things with words while you decide what it is that you want to keep. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you like the more vlog style format, even though the entire lighting of this video is extremely yellow except for the intro clip. Let me know if you want more things like this in future, and for now I'm going to make myself a cup of decaf tea and then go to bed. If you'd like to see more from me, you can check out a previous video on screen right now. And if you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button that's on my face for a new video from me every week. I've been Claire, thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.